Hi, what's up, everybody? My name is Anthony Farrell. Today we're going to do a little impromptu shoot, a little night shoot, or blue hour, as some people will say. Today I am with Suki. She's going to be our model for today. So just come with us. This is going to be me mostly testing out some gear, trying some new things, maybe showing some tips on the way. And that's it. See you soon. Okay, so we got to talk for a second. Just because this was an impromptu shoot, I didn't have time to tell you what and why and how I was doing things in this night shoot. So what I want to do now is use that time to tell you a little bit about the shoot and basically my thinking on it. So I knew for sure that I wanted to mix flash, ambient, and continuous light together in order to get some of my shots, and I wanted to really test myself. So that's what I did. So in that case, something that was really important to make sure that this went great was the lighting that I used. So I'm gonna give you a tour of the gear that I was using in order to make this shoot happen, just in case you're ever in the market looking for lighting that'll help you create this type of photography. So let's actually start with my key light or my main light. So my main light is this AD200 Pro. It is from Godox. It is a strobe, but it's a smaller strobe, and I needed a smaller strobe on purpose. Simply because when you're shooting at night, there's not a lot of ambient light, and most times a normal strobe will overpower the ambient light. So this does the job perfectly because I can turn it down low enough to basically be on the same wavelength as the ambient light. Another issue that I ran into, or that I knew I was gonna run into when I did this shoot, is that it's nighttime. My camera is gonna struggle to focus, even though my camera that I used was a Sony A7Iv. It does great in low light, but I know sometimes it will still hunt if there's not enough light. So I brought out this guy. This is a speed light from Godox. This is the V1 from Godox, and like I said, it's a speed light, but I originally picked up this light for a couple reasons. One, I was just tired of having to buy AA batteries, so I wanted a speed light that was rechargeable, just because they're more reliable. Now, the other thing about this light, which is what really saved the day for this shoot, is that it actually has a modeling lamp, let's just say that, because it's not your typical modeling lamp. It's really just a light. So if I turn it on, as you can see, this works perfectly if I need to aim this at my subject so I can see, or my camera can see so it can focus. So this was a vital part in making sure that my pictures were in focus. So this light can actually trigger other Godox flashes, and then vice versa. So this really made the dream happen. For the last light, I actually want to spend a little bit more extra time talking about this light because the company was kind enough to send it to me to review. But I know I wanted to mix in some continuous light and kind of give the scene a little color, just something that you wouldn't normally see. So I brought this RGB light. It is actually from this company. It's called the G2 Pocket Light. It is a RGB light, full color spectrum. It performed pretty good, and I'm gonna give you my thoughts on this at the end of the video. But as far as the light itself, it's super small, only 11 ounces. It has a lithium battery. It also has a USB-C charging port. And then as far as like the controls on this bad boy, super simple. I didn't need any kind of manual or anything to figure out anything. It was pretty straightforward. So now that I've told you all of the gear that I've used and why and how I used it, now I can actually show you this video of me shooting, and you can just enjoy the content. And if you want to stick around and see my thoughts on this light and how you can get one, just stick around till the end. If you do have any questions, please, please, please do not hesitate to ask. I love answering questions. I do not gatekeep any information. So with that being said, please enjoy the video, and I'll talk to you in a sec. So here's the play-by-play. We're just getting started. We're using just the key light because I just wanted to see how everything was looking, and it was doing great, but my camera was struggling to catch focus, so I went ahead and added that LED light just to give it some pop, but it also helped my camera focus as well, so that was a plus for me. So far everything was looking great. The light was already going past my expectations, and of course we had to do some verticals because, you know, everything lives on socials. But I really love seeing the entire fit. Those boots were everything. Now, it was at this moment where I knew I could never be a model, because ain't no way I'm about to let that water touch my hair. So here I am doing a technique called shutter drag, and this is just a way to add some light trails to your image using the ambient light as well as flash. And I think it turned out pretty cool. You know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but you never know unless you try. So here are some other examples of different things that I tried during this. I actually switched into like a 3-light setup at 1.2, and I'll show you a couple images from that as well. But overall, man, like, things are going out great. I was just having a fun time. Like, look at this right here. Like, this first image, fire. Yeah. Like, that's why, you know, you just have to try different things because you never know how it's going to come out. So typically I'm not the guy to angle my camera, but I think in this situation it did make sense and it added a unique aspect to it. But yeah, man, I really hope y'all enjoyed this. This was fun for me, so let's get into this review. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that shoot. I had a great time. It was super quick, but it was really great, and I thank everybody that was a part of it that made it possible. But I do want to take a second to talk about this light, just because this was kind of the star of the show for me, just because I wasn't sure what to expect. And I will say it met my expectations and more. Let me tell you what I like about this and what I don't like about it. Spoiler alert, there's not much that I don't like about it. And let's go ahead and just start with that, just because it's a super short list. 2 things that I don't like about it. Number 1 is that there's no wireless connectivity when it comes to this light. And what I mean by that is that this is an aperture mini. This little guy is really cool because I can have multiple of these. I can have 10 or 15 of them and connect them to the app and be able to control them and set up scenes with those lights, and they can all basically correspond and talk to each other. And that's really cool if I'm really trying to set up an extravagant scene, but you don't get that with this. There's no wireless connectivity, it's just the light. And honestly, I'm okay with that. For the most part, I don't really use the wireless connectivity, but you know, we live in the world of convenience, and it would be very nice and convenient if it did have an app that I could control it with. Second thing that I don't necessarily know if I like or not is just because I'm not 100% sure. I just don't know how accurate these colors are as you go up in brightness. And what I mean by that is that when I turn this on and I'm going through the different colors and I'm starting at a very low brightness, the colors seem very vibrant and bold and pronounced. But as I go up in brightness, that just seems to fade a little bit. And I mean, truthfully, I feel like a lot of lights do that when it comes to RGB panels, and I'm okay with that. But I just feel like you should be aware that when you get this light, if you're circling through the brightness of these color settings, and it just seems like you're losing some of that color, that's okay. Because truthfully, even at 100%, color looked great. So those are really the only 2 things that I didn't necessarily like. And those aren't really like things that I didn't like. They're not deal breakers for me. So what did I like about this? For one, just the ease of use. This light really, they did it right. They didn't make it super complicated. Yeah, so you have 2 rockers on here and your power button. These are super simple. I didn't need a manual or anything to figure out what was what, and to make it even easier for me, there's a screen on the back, so you can actually see what you're changing and the values and how they're being affected. You can see the battery. All the information you need is right there. So ease of use, very great. And here is another thing that I really love. So on this particular light, this isn't something I had to buy extra. It came like this. This swivels and it also tilts. And you also have 2 mounting points here. So you have 2 1/4-inch threads that you can use to mount, and it also has cold shoot mount. So if you wanted to mount like a microphone, or if you wanted to mount your phone for BTS, you can do it on this because it's already included and made it easy for you. So if I was out running and gunning, this would be perfect for me. I'm not gonna lie, I thought this light cost a lot more than what I'm gonna tell you that it is. When I picked it up, it's very, very, very well built. It feels solid, but it doesn't feel like heavy. Like it doesn't feel like it's just weighted for no reason. Like you see that it's solid and you see why it's solid. And it's only, just for comparison, Aperture Mini, this is like 90 bucks to 100 bucks. This, you can find it on Amazon for $75, new. I thought that was crazy. Like I would have easily thought this was 150 to 200 bucks just off the feel of it. When I gave it to someone else and I asked them, I was like, hey, just off of how this feels, how much do you think it costs? And they were like, I don't know, 300-400 bucks. When I told them it was 75, they were intrigued. So yeah, overall, great light. I enjoyed it. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this video as well. And if you're interested in getting any of this equipment, please ask away. I will leave links to everything in the description. So for now, I guess it's until next time. See ya.